Who could have known that it would have rained last night with that piece? Beautiful, beautiful. Good morning. Welcome to the First Parish in Framingham. I'm the Reverend Aaron Stockwell-Wiseman. I use he, him pronouns, and it is my honor to serve as your senior minister. First Parish in Framingham is a welcoming congregation. We welcome you. If you find the divine in the sunsets and on walks on the beach, if you light candles at the beginning of the Sabbath, or if you're completely amazed at the findings of science, we welcome you. If you are a high church humanist, I want to talk to you and figure out what that means. Or if you're a low church liberal Christian, we welcome you. We welcome and celebrate people of all sexual orientations, races, ages, gender identities, abilities, socioeconomic statuses, or beliefs. We welcome you. If you are joining us here in the meeting house, if you're joining us on Zoom, let's all turn and wave to the camera, even though it's just on me. They'll feel our energy that way. Or if you are watching this service after the fact, whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here today. Unitarian Universalism is a faith that focuses on how we behave and what we do in this life, not what we believe in. I draw your attention now to the announcements in the order of service on the, we'll call it a mint green sheet of paper. Immediately following our service, you are invited to join us for coffee hour in Scott Hall across the Greeley courtyard. Please remember, for the safety and comfort of all, to keep your mask on when you are inside a First Parish building, unless you're actively eating or drinking. Please also take a moment to turn your phones and other devices that might make noise to their quietest setting. I am double checking mine. I'm good. I hope you are as well. However, we do love the sound of children cooing, your laughter, and perhaps even some clapping. We love the sound of your singing as well. Since 1701, people have gathered as this community, seeking peace and seeking meaning. Those people are a lot like you. Whether this is your first time here or your family has been a member here for 100 years, you are welcome. You belong here maybe only for the next hour, but we hope for longer. You belong here, and we are so happy to have you here. I now invite you to take a deep or a comfortable breath in and out. Continue to take a few more comfortable breaths over the next few moments. Begin to let go of what you need to let go of to be more fully present to yourself, to one another, and perhaps the sacred in this time and place. A flame within a chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith tradition. To symbolize the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope, it is our tradition to begin our worship by kindling the flame of our chalice. I light our chalice, or Lauren lights the chalice, as I read these words from Unitarian minister Edward Everett Hale. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. I invite you to rise in body or spirit, both of those work just fine, to sing with gusto our opening hymn, number 318, We Would Be One. Please remain standing as we join our voices in both our sung and spoken affirmations. The words may be imprinted on your heart, or they are in the order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve all life with compassion, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. This is our great covenant, one with another and with our God. You may be seated.
Good morning. My name is Lauren Strauss. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the Director of Religious Exploration here at First Parish. This morning, I would like to invite you into a spirit of meditation with me. And I'm going to sit. Preparing for meditation is a very individual thing. Some people like their eyes closed. If that's you, and some people find it uncomfortable. That was the other thing. If that's you, I suggest finding something to rest your eyes on that won't distract you if you don't like your eyes closed. Some people see really clear, vibrant visual images inside their heads, and other people don't. I don't. And I often feel frustrated in meditation if I'm instructed to just see things. In my head, sometimes I feel and hear and catch glimpses of things, and often it's just blank. And if that's you, it's all good. Whatever way your experience happens is 100% perfect, just the way it is. So, for whatever value of ready to meditate works for you, get ready to meditate. We're going to take breaths in and out together to get grounded and connected. As you breathe in, feel your body in all the places that it connects with the ground and with your seat. Feel the seat as it holds your back and your bum and your legs. Feel your feet on the ground. And as you breathe out, send a root down into the ground through your feet. Feel it connect you to the earth beneath you. Breathe in some energy from the earth. And then let it flow down into the earth again. Take 2 more breaths to feel that grounded connection in and out. In and out. And now on your next breath in, feel or see a light glowing in your heart. And as you breathe out, feel that light float up like a ribbon through your head and out the top of your head and up into the universe around us. On your next breath in, Feel energy from the universe coming down the ribbon, through the top of your head, and also up from the earth through your root. Each time you breathe out, energy flows through you to the earth, to the universe. And each time you breathe in, energy comes into your body so that you maybe can feel connected to all of creation. Now let your breath come back to normal, but don't lose that sense of connection. Wherever you are in your mind, maybe on a beach, sitting in the woods somewhere, on a rock, floating in space, right here in church. Become aware of the place next to you. Get ready to welcome a person there. For some of you, the person may just show up. And for others, you may have to invite a particular person. The first person who will visit you should be someone you've lost touch with. This might be a person you knew well months or years ago, but you haven't seen them in some time. Feel their presence next to you. If you're a person who can look around and see things in your mind, feel free to do so. But if you're not, don't try to look. Just feel them. Maybe this person has a message for you, and it's okay if they don't. Maybe you want to tell them something. In your mind, do so. If nothing comes to mind, just be with them. Spend a few breaths with this person, and then let them go away. Next, see if you can invite a person you see frequently, but who you don't know as well as you'd like. As you sit there, feel the person's presence with you. We'll take a few breaths with this person too, to see if they have a message for you, or if you have something you would like to tell them. The last person we'll invite is someone we don't know well at all. It might be a famous person, or an ancestor, or even a fictional character if that's who comes to you. This is a person you wish you knew, but you don't. Spend a few breaths listening to what they have to tell you, or to what your heart wishes to say to them. As we come back from meditation, it's important to come back gently. We'll do it on the breath. Take an intentional breath in. And as you breathe out, feel that ribbon of light and connection fall gently back from the universe and furl back up into your heart. On your next out breath, send any extra energy in your body down into the earth so that you're not walking around with it all day. You may want to place your hands on the seat next to you and send energy out through your hands, especially if they're tingling. Once you've let out your extra energy, find an in-breath to bring your roots gently back into your body, releasing your hold on the earth. Next, if your eyes have been closed, let them flutter open and then close gently again. Let this happen 1 or 2 more times before coming fully back into this sacred space we have created together. And now the children, teachers, other interested parties, and I will go as you sing us out to religious exploration.
In our community, there is great joy and there is also great sorrow. We set aside this time because we know that a joy shared is a joy expanded, and a sorrow shared can feel as though someone is lifting a burden. You can write down your joys or sorrows or concerns in the book at the back of the sanctuary. It looks like this, or you can submit them online each week. We intersperse into our sharing the singing of Comfort Me. We sing so that the joys and sorrows are held, but also so that you might have a song in your back pocket to sing when you need comfort. We begin with the sorrows. Lauren S. writes, I am worried and angry about legislation in many states that will restrict the rights of trans, queer, and Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Just want to send some love into the universe for all of our vulnerable people. Let us now sing, making sure I am not forgetting any concerns. Let us now sing Comfort Me together. Now lift up the joys of our congregation. David O. and Deb D. Wright, we are grateful for our church community who shares and cares. I share this from Tom G., who writes, I wanted to say thank you to Steve and Beth before they leave for Virginia on Thursday. For the first time in 100 years, there will not be a Greeley living in Framingham. They have both given so much to our community in so many ways. They have given their time and love for this church over many years. Last night's performance, featuring Steve's amazing songwriting talent, showcased his genius for writing creative and topical songs for our time. I'm so fortunate to have been his drummer. for over 40 years in various bands. Your songs, these are your words that are making me cry, Tom. Your songs challenge me and have allowed me to grow as a musician and have given me hope, new confidence to try something new. I wish you both all the best in your upcoming adventure, and I'm so glad that you will see your new granddaughter, Harper May, grow up. I see another amazing musician in our family. I share a similar joy on behalf of our church family, for the Greeley family, especially thanking Beth and Steve, who have given critical, passionate leadership to various projects over the years, both in our church community and in the wider Framingham community, including the campaign that bought 110 Edgell Road, work on the Historic District Commission, and Keep Framingham Beautiful. We will miss you and know that your contributions will continue to impact First Parish. And I know for a fact that there are Unitarian Universalist congregations in that area, because I'm friends with many of them, many of their ministers who would benefit from your membership. There'll be cake during coffee hour to celebrate. We also share this joy for our Muslim siblings and friends who celebrate Ramadan, a month of fasting. May it be a meaningful and easy fast for all. Share this from Ben L., who is thinking of his grandfather today. Hopefully he is doing okay. Sarah M.N. writes, a great joy with having a new heat pump installed last week at my home to replace our gas furnace, doing something to stop climate change. And another joy from Dean A. We had a great time last night with the concert. So wonderful to see so many people. Thanks to everyone who was involved. And with all of those, let us now sing the second verse. The lyric is "Sing with me." And we light one final candle for all of the joys and sorrows which are deeply felt, yet remain unspoken. And we now sing the third verse. The lyric is "Speak for me." To continue our time of meditation, I invite you now to start humming. When you need to take a breath, I invite you to change the vowel sound that you are making. Maybe increase the volume as you can. With each breath, change something about that hum. If you haven't already, change the pitch. Maybe go a little higher or a little lower. Can you match the sound that your neighbor is making? Continue to change the pitch of your hum or your vowel sound. Could you make a sound that harmonizes either above or below your neighbors? Now, perhaps, can you match the note that Dean is playing. Now let us end our humming and enter into the quiet of this space. We each entered into this space as individuals. And for a moment, we created a tapestry of hums. We varied them and changed them as our individual lives change. Harmonies shifted. We take breaths at different times, though the sound continued on. A beautiful tapestry, created just for a moment that will never occur again in exactly the same way. Much like our community gathered here this morning, different from last week, and different too from the week after. We give thanks for this today's constellation, this configuration, these people who love and support us. We take a moment too to think of all of the other things that we are thankful for. We know too that in our communities, just as the hums changed our lives and our lives change, people come and go. People face illness and addiction and loneliness, and they mourn. Their song might change for a little while, but they're still a part of this community. Let us each have the courage to reach out and lend a helping hand. We know too that there is turmoil and strife in our world. Let us each work to bring a little bit more peace to the sections of world that we can affect. Working to bend the arc of the universe towards justice. Working to affirm the beauty in everyone. And because we are human, we can make a long list of all of the mistakes that we have made. Unkind things sent or said. Words spoken too quickly and not in love. Because we are breathing, there is always time to say, I'm sorry, and to ask, how can I do better? We are loved and lovable not in spite of our imperfections, but because of them. May all that is holy hear these words. Amen. Let us now take a moment to sit in the quiet of this space so that we might rest, pray, simply do nothing for a short while. May it be so. We now move on to our offering and testimonial. I am not Judy Lutzy. Judy joined our congregation at the beginning of April, or no, at the beginning of March, not a time traveler. However, Judy tested positive for COVID yesterday and asked me to share her testimonial this morning. She writes these words. I am a new member of First Parish, and I wanted to speak with you this morning about love and commitment and your annual pledge. As of the beginning of April, I have been a Unitarian Universalist, this is Judy, for 47 years. I raised my 3 daughters as Unitarians, and even when we lived abroad for 2 years, we as a family found a Unitarian church to attend. When I moved from Massachusetts to Massachusetts from New Jersey last July, one of my priorities was to find a Unitarian church to join. Since last fall, I have attended several different Unitarian Universalist churches in the local area. When I first attended a service here at First Parish, I felt welcomed and I had found a place where I belonged, a spiritual home and a community of like-minded individuals, a community that values love and commitment to the wider community and the guiding principles of our denomination, a welcoming place for those who are searching for a community of acceptance. It is impressive to me that this church has been a part of this community for so long and continues to uphold the values that I believe in, and is a welcoming place for people of all beliefs and genders. Even though I am a new member, I had to think how First Parish could continue its work and its involvement with the local community. I realize that it has been difficult for many denominations to raise enough money over the past years to meet their budget obligations. With COVID, changes in attendance, and members moving, it has made it much more difficult to raise the necessary money to meet our budget. It is so important in the world we live in today to continue to promote our commitment to social justice, equality, and acceptance of all people. This church remains a safe haven for those who feel overlooked or discriminated against. We should all be proud of the work and outreach that First Parish does in the wider community. So why do we have to continue to do this work and survive financially? We each have to think about what First Parish means, not only to us, but to the wider community. And we have to make a financial commitment that helps to sustain this institution and to uphold our values and view of the world. We need to continue to be a safe haven for all people who need our help. The Canvas Committee, which Judy is on, even in her first month of membership, is asking everyone, if possible, to consider increasing their pledge by at least 10% or more if they can do so, to make sure that First Parish is able to continue to enrich the lives of all members and to continue to be a welcoming church for like-minded people. The morning's offering will now be joyfully given and gratefully received.
I am Elizabeth Kavanaugh Murphy, your ministerial intern, and I use she, her pronouns. Our reading this morning is a poem by Unitarian Universalist minister Marta I. Valentine, titled In Gatherings. In gatherings, we are stirred like the leaves of the fall season, rustling around sacred trees, tossed hither and yon until we come to rest together, quietly, softly. We come to gather strength from each other. We come to give strength to each other. We come to ask for strength from the Spirit of all that is and is not. When our hearts sing or when they frown, it is the way of compassion telling us to give. It is the way of peace telling us to share our gifts. For we are happiest and most powerful when love is made apparent in and through us. Spirit of the circle that is love, as we twirl in this dance that is life, we give thanks for reminding us each day of our task of ministering to each other with a searching glance, a safe touch, a generous smile, a thoughtful word. Thank you for reminding us that we are always building our beloved comunidad. Thank you for reminding us that through our covenant with you, we covenant with each other and are made whole. In gratitude, we celebrate with open hearts and minds. We discover who we are, separate from each other and within one another. In this circle that holds all life, may we ever work toward widening its boundaries until there are none. Amen. Pause. Blessed be. And once more, I'd like to share the words of our chalice lighting this morning, written by Edward Everett Hale around the turn of the 20th century. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. Within her poem, In Gatherings, Marta Valentine so beautifully articulates, we are happiest and most powerful when love is made apparent in and through us. Earlier this year, I was feeling rather powerless. The January weather, you may recall, was endlessly cold and damp and gray. The state of the world felt hopeless, and scanning daily news headlines only served to pull the dreariness of the weather right inside my soul. In December, I'd committed to the spiritual practice of spending at least 15 minutes outside every day, regardless of that weather. So I was walking the streets of my neighborhood quite a lot. I'd encounter the occasional strolling neighbor and their dog, but mostly people passed me by car, hurrying on to their next obligations. I noticed how closed up our homes appear in the depths of winter. Everyone fending for themselves, erecting barriers against the winter, but expanding our isolation too. I'd find myself wandering and wishing I had relationships with more of my neighbors, that we shared more than our geography. For years, I had said I wanted to plan a big summer ice cream social, and I always thought that would actually happen soon. But the pressure of the detailed planning and shopping and preparing for something that perhaps no one even wanted to attend in the first place always convinced me not to do it, that the right time would surely come. But one morning in late January, I was feeling especially disconnected. And from this low point, I began to consider what I might be able to do with the very limited resources and energy that I did have. And I had one of those aha moments as the realization struck. I had to think a lot smaller and more immediately. I sensed that I was not alone in my reaction to this particular January. If my neighbors were feeling similarly, how could we support one another? And within a few hours of that thinking, I felt steady again. I had about 150 postcards and a plan. These cards that my mother and I actually delivered throughout our neighborhood contained 2 invitations. First, to attend a very casual meetup in my backyard where nothing would be offered. And I made that very clear. The very next night. And second, because I love them, to complete a Google form to strengthen ideas about how our neighborhood might become more connected. So the following evening, my husband and I strung some Christmas lights, we turned on a Spotify playlist, and we built a fire outside. And then we just kind of stood around and awkwardly waited. And sharply at 5 p.m., a steady stream of people actually appeared. Some traveled alone, others were with partners, and everyone seemed curious. Perhaps grateful for a reason to be outside, to be social. And as I stood at the edge of my lawn and greeted our guests, their stories just spilled out. One woman confessed how lonely she gets over the long winter with just her paints and her canvases to keep her company. A married couple eagerly offered to host the next gathering within minutes of arriving. And a new mother with her sleeping baby strapped to her chest and her own mom by her side told me how she had just returned to work from her maternity leave and she really needed some friends. Almost 40 people, all relative strangers, huddled together on that chilly Friday night. And it was so simple and absolutely magical at the same time. Our gathering changed nothing, and it changed everything. And that's exactly how change often works, right? My own experiences with the progressive church's power to transform both individuals and communities is what led me to Unitarian Universalist Seminary. And many wise people promised me that seminary would fundamentally change me. And wow, it has. I expected my studies to sharpen my theology and my skills, and honestly to sharpen me into who I imagined a faith leader would need to be. I was very wrong. I did not sharpen anything. I'm a whole lot smoother now. Gentler, more open, less demanding version of myself. Maybe my seminary experience has been a crash course in simply learning to decipher that something I can do, and then how to go out and just do it. In studying theology, religious history, and anti-racist and anti-oppressive culture change, I've clarified my own beliefs and values. I believe we all need salvation in this life, in each moment, and that we have both the power and the responsibility to save one another and ourselves over and over again. Because life on earth just continues to unfold. Precisely how is mysterious and beyond control. Accepting such vast powerlessness has reminded me of the agency I do have, that all of us have, to do the something that I can do. You almost certainly entered worship with your own troubles today, whether fresh or long simmering. We are always living and learning the inevitability of suffering, and we're always responding to it. We never stop needing one another, so we must actively cultivate our relational power. This is that empowering power that we can hold with others instead of aiming to hold power over others. By seeking to build this relational culture, including structures for sharing power with others, we are working against white supremacy culture's reliance on power over people, especially those who hold marginalized identities. This is our work to do, and it begins by fostering and reimagining our connections within our communities. My neighborhood meetup lasted about 2 hours, but the questions that I slipped into those 150 mailboxes have lingered far longer. I asked, what do you need from your neighbors? And what may you have to share? 8 weeks later, I am still receiving new responses in my email. Creativity and enthusiasm abound. My neighbors want to plan a summer block party, a tool lending library, lots of doggy play dates, and a buddy system to check in on those who live alone. Several people told me that they have no personal needs, but would really like to support those nearby who may be lonely. Aren't we all, in our own ways? Our dominant culture today, with its deep roots in both capitalism and white supremacy, places a high value on our individualism. Explicitly or implicitly, we learn that our problems are our own to overcome, that working longer and harder is the way to find success. We come to believe in a brighter personal future resulting from perfectionism, urgency, and the acquisition of things. More money, more stuff, more power, more success. And also, too often, more loneliness, less connection. This culture is failing us all. People who don't even know each other deeply miss each other. Some may always be too busy, but others crave a reason to slow down, listen, and connect. My friends, we need to be that reason for one another. Our relationships can transcend our many differences if we just provide the space to let that happen. We must learn to build our relational power and to find the joy in doing this. As my neighbors dispersed from my backyard in late January, wars certainly waged on. Evictions proceeded, and the earth continued to warm. And also, 5 moms started a group text to schedule stroller dates. New friends linked arms and shared a flashlight for the walk home. And we all felt less lonely. Our gathering changed nothing, and it changed everything. There will always be more to do. Strength to give to others and strength to gather from others too. So on our worst days and our best, let's try to remember to seek the something that we can do. And then not worry if it's enough. Because do not forget, your neighbor's something is unfolding too. Every day in all the ways we are meant to be one another's salvation. May it be so. Amen. Please join the choir now in singing our final hymn, number 145, As Tranquil Streams. Thank you for joining us to worship this morning. Appreciation as always to our staff team, Dean, Lauren, Sarah, and Reverend Aaron, our ushers today, Andre and Robin, to Pete Fontaine for working tech, and our wonderful choir. As you go forth to the rest of your Sunday, I hope that you remember those people in your life who came to your mind during our guided meditation this morning. May your memories of deep connections and hopes for future ones inspire you in the week ahead and always. And now we extinguish our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Until we are together again, may you hold the light always, and may the light of this community hold you always. Go in peace and go in love.